Yeah. Yeah. Everything good, everything good.
Let's go. What's up and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, focus, goddammit. Today we have quite a random assortment of content. First of all, we've already spent the whole day here in the Arborist store. If you're new to this channel, then you do not know that Arboristbutiken, the space that we're in right now, is a retail store for arborists. And arborists are the people who cut, prune, take care of trees in general, and they need stuff. They need stuff such as carabiners, they need stuff such as Prusik cord and climbing ropes, and that is one of the things I do. And we're just getting ready to close the day here, so we're gonna head over here and we're gonna close the cashier. It was a pretty slow day in terms of people at the store, but we're mainly in e-commerce, so people actually come in here and they pick stuff up. Also, if you're new here, one of my businesses is this brand of bags. So this is actually based on my surname, Palmew. As you can probably see by the name of this channel, Herman Palmgren is my name. And I thought it was fun to just make something with the same name as me. It's actually Palmgren in Finnish, that one. I have no relation to Finland whatsoever. ChatGPT just told me it was cool. Another business that I run is 3D printing. So in this door here, at the end of the store, we have a small farm. And this is working. And inside of this small farm, we have two 3D printers running currently. And we're printing all kinds of stuff like gear holders, like year markers, like splicing fids, for example. And it's doing well. And I can't really keep up with the demand. So we're actually gonna have to buy another 3D printer tonight. And I'm gonna show you what model of 3D printer I'm gonna buy and the filament, etc. that we're gonna use. So that's been pretty much an intro of the day. Now we're actually going to close down shop here. It is 5:41 and we're going to head to get a haircut. And after that we're going to go home. We're going to do a little bit of work. We're going to record some YouTube videos. We're going to buy a 3D printer. We're going to do some coding because I also run a lot of apps and app businesses. So I'm going to be showing you a little bit of that too. So yeah, let's continue into the video and probably with a nicer haircut than I have right now. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go mullet.
Yeah, that's great, right? So, or AI chatbots for financial planners.
Alright, it's actually pretty exhausting to make some of these YouTube videos sometimes. Got this nice ring light, by the way. It's a little bit exhausting to make these YouTube videos. It's now 9 o'clock. That took like an hour and a half because I want to make them good and I never really speak from a script, but I have like some bullet points on things that I want to touch upon, and then I literally just freeball it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this was one of the videos where it kind of worked, and it also didn't work at the same time. So we'll see how those turn out. I'm going to chuck them over to the editor, who's going to work some magic with them. I make these YouTube videos because I think it's fun, and I'm going a little bit to the point now where I want to just continue making YouTube videos just because I've been doing it for such a long time and I want to keep the streak. It's also part of my habit. I think it will be fun to watch back in the future, and I also believe in the notion that if you create value for others and if you continue doing that selflessly to some degree, the universe will pay you back in another way. Maybe I'll get someone else to do something good for humanity. Maybe I'll get someone else to be interested in one of my projects. Maybe I'll get someone else to want to consult me on one of their products, for example. So there's a couple of different factors. Now it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna chuck this over to the editor. Then I'll see what I do. Maybe I do a little bit of coding. Maybe I go for a run. We shall see. So one very nice feature of this relatively new, we've lived there for like a month and a half now, apartment is that it's got this nice little gym. So we're gonna do a quick 20-minute Zone 2 cardio run, just because it's good for recovery. That's what my Whoop tells me at least. So we're gonna put this bad boy on 7.5, put on some YouTube video.
Yeah, I got some evil ways. Even through the glasses, you can see the gaze. To find your way up to the top, the shit gon' be a maze. Volkswagen shit, the way I'm running.
I mean, this is good stuff just to get the blood flowing and stuff like that. Quite an easy run. I use the Whoop app. Actually, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to copy yourself a Whoop. They're pretty nice. I didn't like it last time I used it, but now that I've really started using the data, I find that it's working super well. You know what they say, what gets measured gets managed. So if I measure my sleep, my strain, my activity, it'll probably be good for me. So I did a pretty light zone 2 run here. Nothing too intense. And yeah, we're at a 15.4 strain today, so we're really gonna eat some stuff now and head to bed. Maybe we're gonna book a trip this summer actually, so we'll take a look at that. But yeah, by the way, this is a gym. No, super good for late night workouts like this. Got a nice little squat rack, a mirror session there, treadmill, bike, rowing machine, spinning. Obviously nowhere near a full gym, but nice for like a home gym essentially. It literally takes 2 minutes to walk here. Pretty girl?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Alright, so we're back. We hit the gym this morning, so we're gonna take some creatine and we're gonna take some protein powder. We always take the protein powder with a little bit of milk because apparently that makes it absorb into the muscle slower. I don't know if that's true or not. But some protein powder, this is some basic strawberry one. Always double up. One scoop is for losers. Then we have some creatine monohydrate, which is always a good thing if you're trying to put on weight. Mostly it's water weight, but it's got some other benefits too. Cognitive benefits, apparently I've heard a lot on podcasts recently. So we're gonna chuck that in there. And we're gonna give it a shake, and this is around 400 calories, which means that we have pretty much 400 calories to go in today's bowl. So we're gonna take some oat milk and some cereal too, to double that up, because we're currently bulking a little bit, because after working a lot this spring, I turned into a skinny bitch, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna shake this up, get it down, plan this holiday with my lovely girlfriend, and then we're gonna head to bed. Sure. No, I'll reach out to you. Oof, okay, we're in the car. We had a pretty decent day. Nothing really spectacular happened. I've been working a little bit on our Google ads on the Arboristbutiken website, and I've kind of come to the realization that to some degree we're getting screwed over by the bureau that's been doing it, or the agency that's been doing it. Before I used to do all of this myself, and I kind of do know how to do it myself, so I actually just canceled it today and I'm gonna start doing it myself. The issue with it is that we're bidding and we're paying. So let's start over for anyone who doesn't really know anything about Google Ads. Google Ads are these paid links that you see when you search on Google. You search, for example, for chainsaw, and then you get a list of results. The first few results are always sponsored, and you can also get a little reel of products at the top. They're called performance shopping ads. And if someone searches for chainsaw and they get one of those ads and they click on Arboristbutiken, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want to do. That's what we want to spend money on. However, when someone searches for Arboristbutiken and then clicks one of these ads, we don't want to be spending money to get them to click there. Primarily because their intention is already to go to Arboristbutiken, my website. So why would I pay to have them sent there as their intention is already to go there? And the Google Ads Bureau now, for the last 3 months or so, they redid the structuring a little bit, and since they redid it, they've been like, oh, we've got such great results, and I haven't really spent that much money on it, so I haven't really put too much thought into it because the budget has been quite low. But they've been, oh, we've been getting such great results, etc., etc. But I found out now that what we're paying for really is branded search. So people who their intention is already to buy something, their intention is already to browse, we're paying for them to land on the website, which is unnecessary. That's just money that's going to waste because they would have ended on the site anyway because that's their intention. So that's a little bit rough. Oh well, but so that's something that we're going to be looking into and improving a little bit. Now I'm actually going to meet up a customer to give him some stuff that he's ordered. You know, we got Amazon Prime delivery time, quality time, or whatever they say. No, it's why Netflix and chill when you can Amazon and Prime in quality time. That's what they say. So we're gonna drop it off with him, and then I'm actually going out to see some of my friends. So we'll see if we vlog anything about that. It's just gonna be dinner and then an early day today. It's actually a holiday in Sweden tomorrow, but you know, your boy's still working. We have some exciting fun stuff to do there. So I'm actually gonna show you some coding tomorrow, in addition to some other fun stuff. So let's cut to the chase and get on with our evening and the rest of the day. Oof. What actually ended up happening was that me and my girlfriend actually, mostly me, mounted this nice dinner table. I got a cat in my lap. You gotta hop off, guy. And I'm not really a big fan of working at the kitchen table, but sometimes this is the kitchen table I mounted today. It's looking pretty nice. We're gonna need some art and all that kind of stuff, but I'm doing some initial work here. I'm actually planning a lot of my stuff in Apple's software now, so like Apple reminders and notes and calendars, just trying it out a little bit. Maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. But I didn't get up to much else tonight. Did some admin stuff, like submitted receipts, did some salary runs, etc. And now it's 10... Never works now, I'll try. 10:50. So we're about to go to bed and then have a fun day tomorrow.
My heart hardens every year like sneakers that Adidas made. I never did the VMAs, I'm not in need of praise.
All praise to the born sinners Jesus saves.
Alright, it's a couple of days later from whatever clip you just saw, and I just went to pick these up. And what's in this, we can see from the side here, new printer. So I've done some cleaning in the printer room. Now we're gonna unbox this and install both these printers so we can get the print going. I actually just got, not an order, but a request for some more stuff. These battery holders from a relatively large retailer in Sweden. So that could be good business. But we're gonna unpack these, show you how it's installed, and then we're gonna get to printing. Alright, so an hour or so later, we've got all these puppies running. This one had to do like a little calibration thing. But as you can see, we're now printing some year markers. This one is printing another battery holder type of thing. And this one is printing some more year markers. So the farm is up and running. And look, it's looking very professional when you look at it like this. As you can see. Boom, this looks like a proper farm. So that's a lot of fun. Then tomorrow, or tonight actually, we're going to be translating one of my apps. Because it's been doing really well in English, but I think that there could be a Spanish user base for it too. So we're going to be translating that mobile app tonight. And I'm going to show you how I do that actually using the Gemini API to do it programmatically since the file is so large. So we're going to hop home now and I'm going to get to showing you that. Then we're actually going to go for a little bit of a run because I've been a lazy piece of shit and skipped too many of my workouts just because I've felt a little bad. As you maybe can tell, I've had a little bit of a stuffed nose and a sore throat, but no complaints or shouldn't be any complaints, so I will be getting to that. Let's head home. Yeah, I think just in Europe in general, DHL has been the best by far. Alright, so as promised, we are here working on a little bit of localization for this one app that I have. I have this set of question apps they're used to study for a particular or a set of different exams in the tree world. So relatively niche, but quite a few people do these exams in a year, so it adds up. Currently, these types of apps are sitting at $3,500 MRR and around 4,500. But if we look at the charts here, we can see that we've had some pretty aggressive growth at the beginning of the year, but now we're starting to plateau a little bit in regards to how much ARR dense we have. So we're sitting at 41,000 ARR. But we're seeing that this is starting to flatten out. And one thing you can do to try to combat this is you can localize. So most people, around 80% of people who take this test do it in English, but around 20% do it in Spanish. And by that logic, not insignificant amount, around $10,000 per year, should be possible at this current rate by just translating it into Spanish. Now, I'm lowering the price a little bit just because of purchasing power parity and such things. But I'm essentially just going to translate the whole app into Spanish and go from there. So I've used actually Gemini, to translate all of these pages just by copying and pasting the code and asking it to translate all the UI facing strings. Then I have, together with Gemini as well, written this Python script. I have obviously then hidden all of my API keys here just for the demo purposes, like you could see there. And what this does is that it sets out a couple of predefined domains. So these are the categories of questions that you see here. It then takes the Gemini API key that we have, and it has this function that is translate text to Gemini. And it asks to translate text using Gemini API, and it's passing the text instance that we have there, which in this case is a string. And what we then do is we take a JSON file that I have with all of these questions that looks something like this. Now this is the Spanish one, but I have one like this with English questions that is almost 1,000 questions, and it loops over all of these, and it first auto-translates the domain based on the matching that we have, and then it asks to translate the question and the options, and then it uses the same correct answer index as we previously had. So I'm gonna run this, and it's gonna do this in 4 batches, just because I don't want to slow this down too much. So I'm gonna paste my my API key over here on another page, like so. And then I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom so we don't expose any API keys. I did that on another screen. And then we're gonna run this Python script. And as you can see, it will begin translating all of these. It'll begin translating all of these. So this was just from my previous testing prior, just to get the formatting, etc. Right? So I've done some testing, but now we're gonna do in 4 different batches with some auto pausing in between, so we don't overload the API. We're gonna translate all of these into Spanish. And these are questions that I already did with this, and you can see it's working super well. So I have a fully functional app in Spanish now already, with everything in Spanish. Even this little AI assistant that I have in there is in Spanish. Hola. Now we're just gonna say the only Spanish word I know. But as you can see, it's pretty good, and it's answering in Spanish. So very nice, very nice. I'm also obviously then let's go back, translating as well the paywall. So I have a paywall that I have localized to Spanish, for instance, so we can see all of the stuff in Spanish. I have localized this, so the promotional text, the description, etc. All of this stuff is in Spanish as well. And I'm doing the same on the Google Play. Now I'm just waiting to do the screenshots once I have the final app that can be uploaded. But I'm thinking that this is probably going to take some time. As you can see, it's not the fastest because it's quite large queries. And also I'm using Gemini 1.5 since it's a little bit cheaper. Just to show you also how cheap these services have become. It's absolutely incredible. So this is my API usage, and I've already translated around 500 questions just for setup. So yeah, it does take a little bit of time, but 500 questions to translate. We're gonna refresh this actually. 500 questions to translate that has taken around 250,000 tokens. 250,000 tokens has cost me 0.01 Swedish crowns, which is like $0.001. And just in this other app, for example, that's actually has a big user base, I implemented this on the 8th of May, and since then I've had a couple of million of token requests. So quite a few requests, and I've spent 21 Swedish crowns. That's around $2.5 US. So it's incredible how cheap and affordable these AI models are through their APIs. Like, it's almost even cheaper to do this than to pay for ChatGPT Premium, write your own little wrapper. But yeah, now we're gonna wait for this to translate, and it's gonna translate overnight, and then we're gonna push this to the App Store tomorrow. Yeah, it's really my first attempt at localization, and I haven't really done anything like it. So it will be interesting, and it will be fun to see if it actually works, if we do see an uptick in users from South America and primarily Mexico in this case. And yeah, that's yet to be seen. But with that said, we're going to call it a night today. Tomorrow we have some other fun stuff as usual, some more 3D printing, for example. And then also in the evening, I'm going to be trying ShipFast. So ShipFast is this one thing you can use to ship stuff fast. And I've been getting, or ship stuff unclear, is you can use to launch software fast, in days, not weeks, is how they advertise it. Looks like this. It's by Mark Lewis, pretty famous. He's a pretty famous indie builder. So I'm getting quite a few questions to build something like this for Flutter, because as I've been displaying, like, I'm pumping out one of these apps in an evening. Everything's set up, and that's with monetization, that's with asking for reviews, all of the hooks and bells, or whistles and bells, bells and whistles, whatever the fuck that saying is. So I could potentially do something like this for Flutter, which is what I'm considering. I'm getting quite a few questions to do something like this for Flutter, and I obviously know how to do it. So I'm actually going to buy this tomorrow. I'm not sure how expensive it is. I don't think it's that bad. $250, $299. So I'm going to buy this $300 tomorrow and just give it a try, see if it's any good. And then if it's any good, I'm going to use this then to launch the Flutter version. Obviously, I'll have to do quite a lot of building myself, but you get the gist of it. Now we're going to call it an end to the day, and I'll see you in the morning. Ciao. All right, so I quite often get the question about how my apps are doing. So, or how I'm able to build apps so quickly. And an example here is this app I built in like probably 2 hours, and I released it a day and a half ago, or maybe almost 2 days ago. And it's already sitting at $24 MRR and made $70 so far. So nothing massive, but obviously I got a portfolio of other apps. You saw some of them in this revenue cat account here. But I have a very organized and systemized system for releasing these apps. And I'm now making that available, or working on making that available in a platform. Now, this is no course. I'm not trying to sell you a course of any kind. I'm never going to be doing that. But what this is just a Flutter boilerplate of all the stuff that I have kind of collected and learned over the years and over the time of building over 20 Flutter apps. And that's how I'm able to do it so quickly. So essentially what it's going to be a Flutter template that you can get your hands on, where it's going to have instructions on how to get started with Revenue Cat, for example. And if you're using Cursor, it's super simple to just, uncomment all of this. So we can just say, for example, uncomment. I'll spell it wrong, but it will get what I mean. And then it will uncomment all of this stuff and then all the relevant stuff so that we can actually begin using Revenue Cat inside of this app. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, it will fix all of the errors, etc. But we're gonna go back, and it will come with clear documentation and the set of API. We're gonna stop it like so. A set of API instructions, etc. But essentially, what it's gonna contain is like, first of all, a couple of different complete apps. So we're gonna reject all. So first of all, it's gonna contain like a habit tracker light, a simple onboarding, for example. Just a home screen. But the important stuff here is that it's got AI providers, it's got Revenue Cat provider, it's got AI service, it's got a Firebase service, it's got a Gemini service. So all of these things that I set up in every app that I build pretty much are going to become implemented here straight away. So if you want to build a Flutter app, you'll be able to have an AI powered app and a chatbot even ready to go in literally, not even joking, 3 minutes. It's going to be the time that it takes you to create the Gemini API key, and then you're just going to be able to be ready and going. I'm not entirely done with it. I'm working on it a little bit so far. See where I put it. But if you go into it, you're going to be able to sign up for the waitlist here. And if you do, you're going to be able to get a larger or a better discount and a better price. We already have a couple of people in the waitlist, which is fun. And then you're going to be able to get your hands on this at a much cheaper price than what's listed here, and also get it early. If you want to build Flutter app, it's going to be super, super helpful for you. I use these things every time. I actually use this boilerplate for this other app that I built, but I'm going to be building some more apps using this boilerplate and also show that process. So don't forget to check out the waiting list. I think maybe by the time this vlog's up, maybe this is even going to be available, but it's going to be linked down below either way. So definitely go and check that out. My very good friend has actually, see if I can get this open, has actually launched a new product. And I used to love this, but I never found ones that were really good because they would always fall off, etc. But he's promised me that these are fantastic, and I do indeed believe him. In here is actually, if you've been watching like podcasts and etc., you've seen people use them, and his brand is called Inhale. So I've found this to be super useful when I'm working at night, for example, and also for sleep. But what they are is nose strips that open up your airways so that you get more oxygen into the blood. Obviously, they're good at any time. Comes with this nice packaging like this, very well done on the packaging. And you can actually wear them, when you're working at night, for example, and you get 30 of these in one box, and they seem solid, which is nice. The ones that I had before were like these small pharmacy ones from just tiny paper, whereas this is like, it's hard to tell, but this is solid stuff. So we're gonna chuck one on, and we're gonna be super productive tonight. Just need to do it in the camera. Got them glasses on. Oh, there's a little solid thing here in the middle. Yeah, it really makes a difference. Oh, I look like Batman though, but it is what it is. Wow, real nice. I'm gonna be putting them here, and these are gonna be my productivity buddy that I'm gonna be putting on whenever I need to be. Oh, he sent me two. I only bought one. Boom. Send me 2. Thank you so much, Joel. This is the thing, like when your friends do stuff, they're always gonna offer you to send stuff for free, but I always make a point to pay for it, because if someone takes the time and spends the money and the effort to actually build and make something cool, as a friend, why would you ask for a discount, or why would you ask for something for free? So I actually made a point to buy this from him, 1, because it's a great product, and 2, I want to support it. And then he was obviously nice enough to send me 2 instead of the 1 that I paid for. But those are incredibly nice. They smell good too. But that is going to be it for today's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If there's anything that you want to see, do let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free of charge. And if you want to get to building Flutter apps yourself, then definitely check out Mobi Launch. I'm very excited about it. And don't forget, it's not a course. It's just a way for me to diversify what I'm doing and also share what I'm doing. So obviously, I'm not a big fan of the people who sell a course. Because if you sell a course, you're trying to teach something and you're not doing it yourself. Whereas here it's like, yeah, I'm sharing the assets that I'm doing. I'm not going to teach you how to make my flashcards apps that's making me money, for example, because then we're just increasing the competition and that's not good for me. But if you want to build your own type of AI apps and your own apps, that doesn't do me anything. And if I can make a little bit on it, and if I can save you 20-ish hours on setup, then that will be good for both of us. So that's kind of my logic. You're never going to find me selling the course. I'm not one of the guys who sells shovels and doesn't do real stuff, but I do real stuff, and I'm also diversifying a little bit and sharing some of the assets that I've built and come up with over the years. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.